probably goes without saying that as a former winemaker and a fan of wine, this is my favorite gospel. I was entertaining some friends whose marriage I celebrated on Bald Head Island 3 years ago. They live in Virginia Beach. It's for his birthday on Tuesday. They came down for the weekend, and I had to leave them, and I did not know where they were going to church because they certainly are back home at Virginia Beach now. But I asked before Mass, our Mass, how was Mass today? Where did you all end up going? They went somewhere in the triangle, and he didn't tell me. But here's what he did say. Mass was good. We learned that St. Joseph was also there at the wedding and had a little too much to drink. I feel the same way. But wait till you hear this. So he asked St. Mary afterward for a glass of water, provided that the sun wouldn't touch the glass. Yeah, I like that one better. Anyway, some of you might remember the late talk show host, Johnny Carson. Jay Leno, Conan, he was there. Anyway, he had on his show one night an 8-year-old boy from West Virginia who had saved 2 of his friends from dying in a mine accident. And throughout the course of the interview, Johnny Carson discerned that this little boy had to be a Christian. So he asked him a question. He said, "Are you a Christian?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "Do you go to Sunday school?" And the little boy said, "Yes." He said, "Well, what are you learning in Sunday school now?" So the boy came up immediately and said, "We just learned how Jesus went to a wedding and changed the water into wine." And the people all laughed, and Johnny kept a straight face. Then he said to the boy, "Well, what did that mean to you?" Obviously, the boy hadn't given it much thought, but he said right away, "I guess it means if you're having a wedding, make sure you invite Jesus." Pretty profound, I think. Well, there was a wedding feast in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there, and Jesus was also invited, as were his disciples, and probably the entire neighborhood, probably the entire town, maybe even 3 or 4 towns around Cana, because weddings back then were big. Not just a one-day or one-night affair. They went on for an entire weekend. So there had to be plenty of supplies. For the wine to run out at a wedding celebration, oh my God. What a nightmare for the parents of the bride and groom. What a terrible portent or bad omen for the actual bride and groom if the wine ran out. It could have meant that they weren't going to be compatible or that they weren't going to be fruitful in their marriage. Mary, the mother of Jesus, noticed this problem and told Jesus about it. And after what seems like a little bit of attitude, Jesus remedied the problem. 6 stone water jars, about 30 gallons each. That's 180 gallons. To a winemaker, that translates to 900 bottles of wine. Not just wine, the best wine. Chateau Neuf de Pape, Lafite Rothschild. You name the best wine in the world, 900 gallons of it. A wonderful, wonderful miracle. One thing I could say about Jesus, he knew nothing about wine. Oh, lightning. Or maybe this wasn't what it was all about. Maybe it wasn't a miracle for him changing the water into the best wine. Maybe it is what John the evangelist says in the gospel. Maybe it's a sign. You hear that at the end of the gospel? This first of his signs. And I agree. It was the first of his signs. What was the sign? His disciples saw, and they began to believe in him. They also would have known the prophecies of Amos and Hosea and Jeremiah that said, when the Messiah comes, there will be a feast and the best choice wine. That was the sign. They saw it, they believed, their lives were changed. And he saved the wedding couple a lot of embarrassment. What does it mean for us? Let's go back to the 8-year-old boy on Johnny Carson. When you have a wedding, be sure to invite Jesus. I'm sure we do invite Jesus to our weddings. We invite him to our anniversaries. We invite him to our birthday parties, our baptisms, our confirmations, to our burning of the mortgage party, to our kids are no longer on our insurance party. Yeah, I'm sure we invite Jesus to all those wonderful occasions in our lives where we can say, thank you. But we don't live most of our lives in those extraordinary, wonderful times, do we? We live our lives in the ordinary times. Look at all of Jesus' parables. They were about ordinary people and ordinary things. A prodigal son and an extravagantly loving father. Fishermen and nets, birds of the air and lilies of the field, a farmer sowing the seed. All ordinary things. Because for Jesus, the ordinary was extraordinary. Water becomes wine. My brothers and sisters, it's those ordinary moments in our lives that we have to invite Jesus into. Like washing the dishes. Like cleaning our rooms. She's good. I didn't pay her. Like driving our kids to dance or picking them up from soccer or studying an all-nighter in Belk Library or in Hogwarts reading room. It's those ordinary moments of our lives that we have to invite Jesus to change that wine of the ordinary into something very extraordinary. There's miracles happening each and every day of our lives if we look around. We, my brothers and sisters, are those miracles. We are the signs of the kingdom to all others if we're willing to take our ordinary to Jesus and allow him to change it to something extraordinary. Those times when we feel jealous or selfish or envious or holding a grudge or angry, invite Jesus to come. Take those ordinary things from us and change them into the extraordinary and extravagant expressions of our love. Please, let the world see us as signs and miracles of your presence.